Good morning, everyone. Trying to scroll through and see who all is here as people keep coming in. It's lovely to see you. Thank you, Henry, reminding us to get our chalices or candles or whatever acts like a chalice for you. Maybe you can paint one and then always have it hanging over your shoulder. Yeah, there. Well, good morning. I'm going to let us begin as my co-hosts will keep letting folks in, and we have some things to cover. So good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Catskills Zoom version. I'm the Reverend Dr. Leonisa Artizone, and I'm grateful that you are all with us today. As a reminder, and I'll probably say this a couple times throughout the morning, if you are new here or visiting and want to learn more about what we're doing, please be sure to drop your email address or whatever contact information works best for you into the chat, and we will capture that so we can keep you posted on things. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are in your life's journey, you are welcome here. This morning, I would like us to wish a sweet new year to our Jewish siblings. And in a moment, we'll do something special as well, but let's get through the nitty gritty. For those of you who are visiting, Unitarian Universalism is a unique liberal religious faith guided by 7 principles and 6 sources. Have everyone been hearing me so far? Okay, good. All right. I got a little weird notice on my microphone there, so just wanted to make sure. You can learn more about Unitarian Universalism in general, and in particular, the work we do in our community at UU Catskills if you visit UU. Okay, so someone seems to have made themselves host instead of co-host, and I don't know who did that. Well, we'll figure it out as we go along. Here we are. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing what's happening. Someone might have used my account. So someone who uses my account sometimes to log in for other events has logged in as me, or as UU Catskills rather. I need you to log out and come in again under another email address because you're disabling a few of the features we have for our service today. So I can't totally see who that is. So if any of the co-hosts can figure out who that is and help them leave and then re-enter on their own account instead of the UU Catskills account, I would be quite grateful for that. I don't know who that is. You might know who you are if you can figure it out yourself. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Here at UU Catskills, we live into our UU values by being voices to stand up for the notion that Black lives matter. We are voices for immigrant justice, for addressing climate change and other planetary issues, and for supporting LGBTQ rights. I wanted to highlight a way we can live into our values of caring about the climate while also raising some money for UU Catskills. I have done it. I'm waiting for my confirmation email, but we are switching to community solar power. We were on another kind of green plan and it did not compare to this. So our house in Rosendale, we are joining community solar with Solstice. And the best part is for everyone that signs up, $150 goes to our congregation. So to me, it feels like a win-win, the planet, us individually, and our congregation. So I would like to encourage everyone, this has been in the mailings, but I would like you to check it out. And I believe Jenny Giddy is our representative of helping folks through this process. So Jenny, if you want to raise your hand, and people can scroll through and find Jenny, or at the end of the day, we can highlight Jenny. There we go. And I can also add her email, but it's all the information is on our website. I encourage everyone to do it. I think it's an easy way for us to live into what we believe in. Okay, I've got a bunch of announcements too. We got a lot going on. Today starts our grief support group at 4 o'clock. If you'd like to be part of it, make sure you find Leela Clark in service today or send her an email. Today, immediately after service, we're doing our UU 101. If you're curious about membership at UU Catskills, just mention it when we get down later in the service. I'm going to ask people to raise their hands and, but you can also type it into the box and someone can capture that so I don't leave anyone out. This week, Monday, we have Women's Circle at 6:30. And we're having a special UU the Vote gathering, Paula, Sylvie, and I, on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I haven't even made the link yet, but I will get that out by Tuesday morning because I think it's of utmost importance that we are now doing everything we can to preserve our democracy. So I hope that all of you, we're only going to meet for about a half hour or so and come up for ways to increase voter turnout. And it's all part of a campaign called UU the Vote. And you can learn about it on the UUA's website or come on Tuesday at 1. And if time doesn't work for you, then send an email to either Paula, Sylvie, or I, and we'll get you the materials that you need. Tuesday is also our racial justice working group. People are still welcome to join. Just send an email to the office or Donna Schlockman. Wednesdays, we're continuing our prayerful evening service. It's about 30 minutes. It's quiet. It's healing. Please join us. Thursday morning, if you're curious about, UU hooligans, come at Thursday morning at 9:30 for a version of Brood Awakenings, where we're going to talk specifically about UU history and some of the more interesting characters in our history. There's a membership committee at noon. And then we begin actually, no, this is the second of our small group gatherings. We gathered at the congregation on Friday with our Hurley peeps. And on Thursday, the Duchess Circle will gather at 4:30. If you want information on that, and you haven't learned about it yet, which I find hard to believe, but if you haven't, Christy or Kathy can answer that. Christy Bellecci or Kathy Kasner can answer questions. And then of course, there's always bedtime story. And this week it's Jane's turn. So I would like to invite us all into a brief moment of silence for the incomparable Ruth Bader Ginsburg, in gratitude for all she's done for countless of us. So if we just take a moment of silence to honor her. We hope today and every day you will be inspired by the words of James Vila Blake, written in 1894. Love is the spirit of this faith, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Welcome to this time apart from time. Invite Catherine to give us her prelude. Thank you, Catherine. That was very hip. I like it. Okay, we will begin. If you have your chalices handy, we're going to begin with our chalice lighting.
We light this chalice in grateful, loving community.
Even in the darkest of times,
its flame light paths
to courage, justice, and hope.
Our opening words this morning are from UU educator Sophia Lyons-Foss. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life. In the spirit of pliability, growth, and community, come, let us worship together. We will have our unison affirmation. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy to mystery and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. Now, engage one's spirit, since we don't have to rise. We can rise in our spirit, if not our bodies too. Join in singing, Gather the Spirit. And
Witness the mystery of this
Thank you to Catherine and Ella Catabiani for making that beautiful version of this hymn that I just love so very much. And when we start service with it, I feel like we are in the right place and with the right people. We're going to move to our Not for Children Only. And I'm trying something new here. All right. So, kiddos of all ages, I want you to listen to this story called Rose's Garden, written by Peter H. Reynolds. Rose was a dreamer, an adventurer. She explored the world in her fantastic teapot. Rose collected seeds from each place she visited to remember it by. The teapot became heavy and brimmed with seeds. It is time to plant my garden. There in the distance was a big, bustling city by the sea. Welcome, friend. Sail up river. It's lovely there, the harbor master called down to Rose. Thank you. I think I'll explore the city first, said Rose. She soon found herself in the busiest part of the city. And there she spotted a dusty, forgotten stretch of earth. Rose pondered. This little patch needs some color. Rose began preparing the soil, imagining what a different, colorful place this could be. When she went to gather her seeds from the teapot, she noticed a flock of birds flying away from it. The birds seemed so full and happy. Oh no! Rose slipped into the teapot and carefully gathered the few remaining seeds. She tucked them inside her pocket, then hurried from the dock. Rose planted her seeds and waited patiently. But nothing seemed to happen. The rains of spring made the soil too wet. The heat of summer made the ground too dry. The chill of autumn came too early. She waded through the snowy winter. The snow melted, the ground warmed. Still Rose waited, determined that her seeds would awaken. Word spread of Rose's faith in her garden. One warm spring day, a girl approached Rose with a gift. It was a paper flower. I made it myself for your garden, the girl said, beaming. Thank you, said Rose. The next day, a boy appeared with his own handcrafted flower. Rose was delighted. This will be in good company when my flowers bloom. Day after day, more children came to visit, each with a paper flower. Each told a story about coming to this city, having journeyed from all over the world like seeds carried on a breeze. Before long, the garden was filled with color, glorious color. Thousands of flowers, each one made of paper. Rose marveled. As she waited among them, she heard a sound, a buzzing. She noticed a bee gently land on one of the flowers. She peered closer. This flower was not made of paper. She breathed in its sweet perfume. And then she noticed another real flower and another. Each flower, real or paper, had appeared around her because Rose believed. Her faith had gathered a garden and the stories of a city. Rose realized then that her travels were over. She was home. Home in this amazing garden, this splash of color in the middle of a great city, surrounded by stories and flowers. Here in Rose's garden, everybody's garden. So I'm not sure if anyone would like to comment on why on a day when we're talking about community renewal would I share Rose's story. I'm kind of looking for Austin to see if he wants to share something. But if not, does anyone else want to raise their hand and share something? Judith Chase, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
It means everyone has to help with the garden. Everyone has an important part to play. I think I've heard those words a little while ago before.
Yeah,
That's
good.
it.
That's it. Thank you. Yeah, so it's partly the everyone has an important part to play, and also anyone else? Because thank you, Judith. Austin, do you want to jump in? Am I putting him on the spot? I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that to teens. That's awful.
Right.
Jenny.
Everybody has to help.
Hey, there we go. Thanks, Austin. Everybody has to help. And Jenny, do you want to add to that?
I think we all need to have hope and patience.
I agree too, right? Thank you, Jenny. Those images, I mean, I just love the idea that I feel like those seeds are representative. Like for her, it was all her travels, but that's us. We're all travelers with different journeys, and we each are a seed, and we need that hope, that patience, that perseverance, that I won't give upness, and the piece of all working together, right? That it's not one person in this community, it's not one person far away, it's all of us together. If we commit to our ideals, our UU principles, to this community, then we can make, whatever that garden represents in the world, we are that. So I wanted to share that story. I also just love the artwork so much. It's so beautiful stuff. So with that, I'd like to transition us into our contemplation and compassion. And I know we have a lot on our minds today, as if we needed more on our minds. So I'm going to invite everyone to get comfortable, put your feet on the ground, feel what you need to feel underneath you to feel strong and steady and grounded. And we'll move into our contemplation and compassion. And we'll begin with another moment or two of silence. I'd like you to focus on your breath, calling to mind the joys and sorrows, fears, losses, sadnesses, happy moments, hope, everything that is probably spinning through your mind. So take this moment of silence to just quiet your mind and really hone in on what your heart is carrying. I invite you now to focus in on those sorrows, the losses you're carrying. Feel them, and if you'd like to place some in the chat, at least the transcript will be saved, and I will try to read some aloud. Yes, I know many of us, that was how we started the service too, is the great loss of the notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. May her memory be a blessing. And may her legacy be a call. If any of your sorrows or losses, disappointments feel like a burden, I invite you to lay them down. Reframe them too as peace for our country. I want to cry for our country. It's like someone lost a family member, also missing the sanctuary services. I am too. I get it. Yeah, the great losses. It's important that we honor them. Now I shift us into the joys we are carrying, the things that maybe over the past week or few days or few minutes have filled our hearts, gave us smiles, gave us a sense that maybe the world is okay or we can make it okay. Carry those joys. If you'd like to type some, I'll try to read some as well. I'd like to share a joy that Peter Criswell, who needed emergency surgery yesterday, has emerged from that surgery and is doing quite well. And we'll have more information as we get some. We have a joy that Ken Fu is also released from his rehab center and is home recovering and would love to hear from people. Don had hosted a hike with 13 hikers to Art Omi, which is a great place. Judas New York guys are getting to get together soon. My joy is that my daughter's college campus still has 0 COVID cases. They're doing something right. Judy and Austin got a new car. Congratulations. And even though it's getting a little colder in the morning, joyful that the weather is still as beautiful as it is up here. How lucky we are to live where we live. So let's all take a moment, put your hands on your heart, whether you spoke and have a spoken or unspoken joy. Take a moment and offer gratitude for the things that do lift your spirits, that give you hope and help you find peace. And while we're there, I invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, we offer gratitude for this community and to this community for showing up, for being with us when we mourn, for celebrating our joys with us, for marching in the streets together, and for being a loving presence when all else feels lost. Continue to support and guide us as we renew our commitment to one another and help us live fully into our UU principles so that we may become beacons of hope in a shattered world. Amen. And we will continue our contemplation with a lovely piece of music written by Tim Olson, who is the music director of UU Schenectady, as well as the director of the Union College Jazz Ensemble. It features Catherine and I in our first collaboration through the wonders of technology. And as you listen, I invite you to make an offering to this community. Our generosity has been, I don't know what the word is, kind of mind-boggling to me how wonderfully you've all pitched in to help not just UU Catskills, but all these half-plate organizations we work with who are doing really important work on the ground. So thank you in advance for your generosity. And I'm going to mute myself so you can listen to the music and contemplate.
We listen to all hearts and minds, experiences of all kinds. Through inquiry we find what's true, as hard as it can be to do. Come listen, open, serve with me, together in community. Our hearts are open to be changed by new perspectives rearranged. Success and blunder light our way, transformed by the wonder every day. Come listen, open, serve with me, together in community. In partnership we now commit to humble service. We admit that justice starts with you and me, unlearning white supremacy. Come listen, open, serve with me, together in community.
Thank you for your generosity and for being here together with us. I forgot to mention, but I hope you read that this month we are sharing our half plate with Rise Up Kingston, who's doing pretty amazing work on the ground in the city of Kingston and beyond, actually, but mostly focusing on the city of Kingston. So thank you for your giving and your generosity. I'm now going to unmute Joyce, who will give us our reading this morning.
Our reading today comes from the Reverend Marcus Hartley, entitled The Grout. The Unitarian Universalist congregation where I served as an intern made a mosaic tree of life the summer before I arrived. Congregants of all ages came together to craft the tree's leaves, using bits and pieces of broken ceramics, jewelry, glass, and stone. There are many precious personal items in the tree, including fragments of the Berlin Wall, a father's watch face, pieces of great-grandmother's china, and a key to the front door of a loved home. Like the members of the community that brought them together, each part is imbued with memories and meaning. Each fragment holds a piece of truth. Unitarian Universalists are mosaic makers. We are a people who bring together the broken pieces of our histories and the shining pieces of our seeking, and piece by piece create a mosaic religion. Our tree of life is found in the stories of our living tradition. The bead from a transformational moment of worship at a youth conference. The bit of paper stamped with the blazing emblem of the Unitarian Service Committee that saved lives during World War II. The button or patch on a backpack that proudly proclaims the first justice issue that lit our souls on fire. But our mosaic making tells another story too, one that is often more difficult to see, one that is essential to the purpose of religious community, one that lies not in the beautiful and broken bits and pieces, but in the grout. Grout, the chalky, gritty stuff that is squeezed between the cracks of tiles. In a mosaic, the grout holds the image together, unifying disparate pieces into a whole. The grout of a community takes years to lay and settle. Grout happens in board meetings and committee meetings and endless emails and slow-moving institutions. It is in weekly potlucks shared by neighbors, a ride to church, and coffee in the social hall after worship. While the folks who show up for service only on Christmas and Easter will hopefully enjoy the beauty of the mosaic they find, they may never know the power of the grout that holds us all through the seasons of life. We help to make the grout when we learn each other's names and when we reach across generational divides. We help to make the grout when we show up on Sunday morning without having checked first to see if we're interested in the sermon topic. When a newborn arrives to be blessed by the community, it is the grout that enables us to welcome them. And it is in the grout that we rest when we gather to grieve and memorialize a beloved one who has died. Hold us, O grout.
Thank you, Joyce. Hold us, O grout. Maybe it's because my husband works with ceramic tile, but I really love that grout analogy. Grout, the filling, the connection, the bond, the in-between space that borders, outlines, highlights the tiles. In the reading, Reverend Marcus, however, reconceives that grout, not as the powdery stuff in a bag that gets mixed with water and added to the tiled wall to create that bonded border, but rather as the connections we make as we reach out to one another, when we welcome newcomers, when we lean into change, when we serve one another. Last week, we talked about finding spiritual renewal and the importance of creating a spiritual practice that helps us to carry on, grow, and feel inspired when inspiration is lacking. I enjoyed beaming into our breakout rooms and hearing ideas and plans, and I love that the spiritual writing group is experiencing a renaissance as a result. What I did notice was that many of the spiritual practices that were being tossed out there were not just solitary pursuits, but things that could also be done with members of the community, thus serving a dual purpose: personal spiritual growth and community connection. Communities need renewal, especially now when the world feels so out of whack and this pandemic is keeping us from sitting together in our sanctuary on Sauk Hill Road. We need to actively remember who we are as a community, what we believe in, what we stand for, and why we all choose to come together each week as Unitarian Universalists. Communities, just like all relationships, need to be tended to. Many businesses, as well as spiritual organizations, including us, have annual retreats a way to step back, reassess, check in, do some visioning work, or set goals. We at UU Catskills are called as a covenantal community to care not only for one another, but also the collective whole. German filmmaker Werner Herzog said, "Whether something lasts or not has nothing to do with whether it's made of stone or steel or wood or fabric. A house built all in wood can be a monument that lasts for hundreds of years because it seduces people to live in it, to use it and maintain it. Eternity depends on whether people are willing to take care of something. In Greece, ordinary white houses are repainted every year. Today, we are often told to use materials and structures that are free of maintenance. But no building can be neglected entirely. We need constantly to renew our relationships to the houses we live in, to our friends, to our own bodies, all the time, every day." Renewal, this tending, are not one-off processes. They are ongoing. Through this tending, we renew ourselves and our community. We learn new things. We find new ways to be connected. We are nourished to respond to our highest callings. We all come to UU Catskills for different reasons. And last week, I used the term co-creators. We, each one of us gathered here, are co-creators of this community. We are not a top-down organization. We are a roots-up group, and each of us makes the community. How we show up as these co-creators varies, but we all need to show up. Service in some form, on the board, on a committee, as a leader of a small group, takes many forms, and the more people involved, the stronger our community is. So I quickly, and we'll talk about this more in a moment, want to ask you, as our community renews itself, where do you see your call to co-creation? What can you bring to this UU community that will help us build our grout? What ideas and longings do you want to share with this community, and how will you help us live into them? I think our framework of shared ministry, wherein each of us ministers to one another and serves to reinforce our collective, is a model of what true community looks like. These troubling times have shown us that we really do need one another. We need one another for our own personal survival, and we need one another as voices in the wilderness calling for environmental action, justice, human rights, and peace. Our collective can feed us and remind us of what matters, of what we need right now, and of what we feel called to create. We can renew our commitment to this community however often is needed and in whatever form it takes. Showing up is a first step. Stepping up to serve in some way is the next. We are not just consumers here. We are co-creators, and many voices, just like many seeds, many voices make a beautiful song. And right now, I think we need to remind ourselves that Zoom services are less than ideal, but they are better than not being together. That although our buildings sit unused, there is work we can be doing to strengthen those buildings and this community, whether we're sitting in those chairs or not. And that even from our own homes spread across Ulster, Dutchess, and Greene counties, and even farther afield, we can be living into our UU values to support the work of UU Catskills and Unitarian Universalism everywhere. Take a moment and recommit yourself to the value that is UU Catskills. What will this year bring? I'm going to close with the words of Sobunfu Somé, a spiritual teacher and writer from Burkina Faso who passed away 3 years ago. She writes, "Community is the spirit, the guiding light of the tribe, whereby people come together to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fulfill their purpose, and to take care of one another." May it be so. And if you'll indulge me, I'd like us to read our covenant again. Really enjoyed that the other day. So wherever you are, if you can see this. As members of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Catskills, we covenant with one another to embrace and pursue our congregational mission of diversity, community, growth, and action. Specifically, we will listen attentively and speak thoughtfully to one another. Respect one another and choose not to denigrate those with whom we differ. Support one another in times of need and be sensitive to others' situations. Be open to growth and change in ourselves and our congregation. Incorporate the UU principles in our lives. Encourage and support one another in our efforts in the community. Offer our involvement, volunteer time, and financial support as we are able. Work together with kindness and humor whenever possible. Recommit ourselves to this covenant as needed. I decided to play the same hymn 2 weeks in a row. I know maybe there's a rule somewhere that I can't do that, but the theme this week made me want to sing Fire of Commitment again, and I hope you all don't mind. And after that, we're going to have a little moment of some polling before we wrap up our service. So I encourage you all to sing loud and enjoy.
From the flight of days remembered, burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith's and
I needed that hymn today, so thank you for indulging me. I'm sure, like many of you, Friday night, I sort of fell apart and thought, oh dear. And then I was reminded that one person isn't the only answer, that we, and if it is, then we are also that one person, right? We lost a great light, but that light burns within all of us. And if we can make our hunger meet our passion, then we can bring the world that we want to see to life. And I hope you will join me in that effort, because you already are. So let's keep doing it. I want to do a poll, right? Before we do our closing words. The board and I have schemes and we have ideas about how we can be together. And I'm going to, now, this is going to be new technology for many of you. A poll is about to pop up on your screen in a moment. And there are 2 questions. So I'm going to do poll 1, and it's a question about outdoor services. And I'm going to give everyone a chance. And what happens is you can pick your answer and then it gets tabulated. And my researcher geek is so excited for this. So, okay, I'm going to launch the poll. Okay, and I'm going to read the questions as well, because I know these screens can be tiny. So the first question says, if we held a service outdoors at UU Catskills in either our cars and or in a socially distanced way, either with a tent or designated seating, would you attend? Please vote. The second question says, we are currently creating small group outdoor gatherings. Are you interested in attending something like this? Please vote. Yes, no, maybe, and then we can always talk about maybe later. And the third question says, if we could have small group gatherings inside the sanctuary, being fully in compliant with New York State rules, groups under 12 or whatever it would be, we'd have to do that. Is that something you would attend? We just want to get a sense of where people are these days. So please, can I end the poll? I'm trying to look around. Has everybody look done? You want to raise a hand if you look like you're done, so I know if I can end it. I'll give 10 more seconds. Okay, most people are raising their hands. This is fun. I like this. I like voting's fun, isn't it, people? Yeah, we want to get more people voting in the country. So come and meet me and Paula at Tuesday at 1. All right, I'm going to end the poll and see our tallies. Oh, I guess I see them later. Oh, should I share the results? I can share the results. Does everyone want to see the results? Sure, let's do that. Okay. How come it's not showing me? Is everyone seeing results? Huh. I didn't see them. So someone take a screenshot, because they're not for some reason showing it to me. Maybe that's just, I'm doing something wrong. Okay, Henry, will you keep, can you make a note of them for me? That's so weird. Okay. I must have done. All right. And then we have another poll question. And it's actually just 2 questions. The first one is asking multiple choice. Yeah, I forgot to set up if there were 2 people in a room, there's a way to do that, but that is a lot. It's very confusing. So we'll just do our best. It's okay. Which of the following could you get involved with over the fall? I think you're allowed to click as many as you like. Helping with online auction, joining a committee that helps our mission, providing recorded music to services, helping with technology to services, helping with marketing and outreach, inviting others to join our programs, cleaning and cleaning out the farmhouse and sanctuary, helping with buildings and grounds, assisting in religious exploration, and helping our elders during this time. If any of those are calling to you, please. Oh, I forgot. Oh my gosh, there it is. Okay, now that I just read that, do you see it now? It's called Service to the Community.
No.
Oh, you have to, I know why you have to go to the top and there's a caret, like a drop down thing, and you got to go to the second where it says poll 2. I thought they would automatically give you poll 2. So you have to go to the top where it says service to community.
We don't see it.
No,
Ah. Issue with the system. Da, 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 da.
Oh,
Okay.
here it is.
You found it. Okay. Yeah, you have to use the drop down bar at the top to go to poll 2. Note to self, don't do it as 2 separate polls in the future. There we go. Okay, I might have done something wrong and that's okay. I'm closing it down. We'll figure it out another time next week or something. Okay. Okay, we'll figure it out. Our closing words come from UU minister, one of the more famous UU ministers of our history, Theodore Parker. Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple, all space, its shrine, the good heart, its creed, all truth, its ritual, works of love, its profession of faith, divine living. Grab your chalices and we will extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. Take a moment to scroll through and bow, nod, smile, wave at everyone. Hello, hello. I'm sorry my polling got messed up. Poll 2 is still up. You can still vote. It is? It's up there somehow? All
Yeah, it's
right.
there.
It's there. So if you want to do it, and then I'll figure out how to take it down. All right. Yeah, you just have to go at the top and click it. I'm going to try launching it again, see what it does. I like trying something new, especially when it doesn't work, because then I learn something new. Ta-da! Okay, so. All right, okay, so it looks like I'm going to put us in breakout rooms. Did the poll go away? I hope it went away. I tried to make it go away. All right, I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to stop being